Greetings, Telebeth Shalom, back again for Parashat Shavua. We are Vaetchanan, Parashat Vaetchanan, Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 23 through chapter 7, verse 11. And we are continuing with the first discourse, the first speech of Moses from the first portion, Devarim. And then we are beginning the second discourse. Um, the summary here of the first discourse is to observe the law. Moses proceeds to lay out a summary of the fundamental requirements that God requires, or that God asks of the Israelites, and he is reminding them that in order to have blessings, in order to be in the land, to have the ability to stay in the land, these are the things that God requires of them. And the second discourse, which makes up the majority and the rest of this Torah portion, Vaetchanan, and it continues into the next Torah portion. This is Moses' height of his oratorical abilities. He is to quote from the Plaut commentary, he is the preacher par excellence. And his commands are issued in God's name, reminding the people over and over again what he's reminded them all the way through until now, which is do this because God commands it and all will be good. Don't do this and you'll be cursed and all will be bad. It's pretty similar. Couple of really important pieces in this Torah portion that I would be remiss not to bring to your attention. So we'll start with the beginning of the portion. It's God or Moses pleads with the Eternal and saying, "O Eternal God, you who let your servant see the first works of your greatness and your mighty hand, you whose powerful deeds no God in heaven or on earth can equal. Let me, I pray, cross over and see the good land on the other side of the Jordan, that good hill country, and the Lebanon." And of course, Moses is refused because God is still upset with Moses for not trusting him and for representing him in a way that God did not ask Moses to do so. And then we have, and now, O Israel, give heed to the laws and rules that I'm instructing you to observe, so that you may live, to enter and occupy the land that God has promised them. Again, Moses reminding them, see these laws and these commandments, these rules that God has given me to impart to you. And he's telling them, this is a good one, but take utmost care and watch yourself scrupulously, so that you do not forget the things that you saw with your own eyes, and so that they do not fade from your mind as long as you live. Don't forget what happened before, because it can happen again. And of course, many of the times that the Israelites were in trouble along the way, that he's referring them to think about. The gathering of the people at the foot of the mountain, where the mountain was ablaze with flames to the skies. God spoke out of the fire, and God gave them the commandments, the covenant, inscribing them on 2 tablets of stone. And then we have just more continuation of this promise. And then we come to, and I'm trying to find so chapter 5 of this Torah portion, verse 6, begins the Decalogue, the public reading of the 10 Commandments. And it's really, really obviously not just important, but it is of extreme importance. We have extreme importance. We have the reciting of the 10 Commandments it has its own colored page in the book. It's set apart from the rest of the book, and it's so important for us. And then we have just the Ten Commandments. The Decalogue is such importance. Not only it appears twice, once in the colored page, and then once right after that when it just says the same thing that it was just talking about. So it sets it apart. And Moses is clearly trying to get the people to understand this is like the most important. And then we get to chapter 6, verse 4, which I believe everyone in this congregation knows. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Continuing. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, and so on and so forth. We have the Shema and the Ve'ahavta right here for us to see. It's Ve'ahavta is a little different. It's Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ela, and so on and so forth. V'shinantam levanecha, and so on and so forth. And then there's another paragraph that's in here that we don't say in the Reform movement, and that's a whole other conversation for another time. But then we have the continuation of chapters into chapter 7, and the portion ends with the following. Know therefore that only the eternal your God is God, the steadfast God who keeps the divine covenant faithfully to the 1,000th generation of those who love God and keep the divine commandments, but who instantly requites with destruction those who reject God, never slow with those who reject, but requiting them instantly. Therefore observe faithfully the instruction, the laws, and the rules with which I charge you today. That's Parashat Vaetchanan. Have a great rest of your day. Shabbat Shalom.